Welcome back, Point Three people, to another exciting episode of the Point Three podcast. We're excited to have you once again as we discuss the latest happenings in the world of superheroes. Today, in specific, we're giving you our reaction to the new Echo trailer. A quick heads up, if you haven't seen it, we're not going to be holding anything back, so spoiler warning. Take it as it is. Leave now. Come back later. Whether you're a long-time listener or just joining us, we're excited to have you. So get ready for a reaction like no other as we don our capes of critique and take flight into the heart of Echo. This is your friendly neighborhood podcast, and we're about to web sling our way into the world of heroes and villains once more. Gentlemen, Echo trailer. We are about 3-4 days removed from that trailer. It's exciting. We're excited. It's an exciting time to be a Marvel fan. Spider-Man, I'm gonna kick it off to you. What did this trailer make you feel, man? What hit for you?
Everything hit. It was beautiful. It was. I'm trying to think of a funny pun to tie Echo into something, but
listen, man, you could just keep it.
Echoes.
This hit just as hard as Fisk's fist. Wow, that was tough. I was not planning to say that out loud. That was tough.
That was hard.
That was good. Yeah, no. Seeing Fisk be as ruthless as he was in the opening, and the audio and soundtrack that went with it, that was beautiful. That got me some I'm scared. I'm more scared of Fisk than Kang.
Ooh.
Yeah.
That's not even a hot take. That is just massive facts.
That's just truth.
It would be. But yeah, it was a great trailer. It's nice to see some street level MCU again. So very excited with it.
It was an interesting choice to have Fisk feel like Netflix Fisk. No question in my mind.
Mm-hmm.
It was very cool that Marvel Studios, they unveiled this trailer at the Choctaw Day celebration. Anyone who saw Maya Lopez in Hawkeye, you know the origin, Native American origin for a character, but this was really cool. And they actually screened the first 2 episodes of the upcoming Echo series, which we've talked about at length in terms of it being released all at once. We've known that for a while. But I don't think anyone was expecting this trailer, rated MA, mature, to do what it did for people who have written Marvel off, for people who have been on the Marvel fan bus since day 1, day 35, day 3000, whatever, you name it. This trailer literally imprinted and put Echo on the map, revived Fisk for whatever it was that you felt after his beatdown at the hands of Kate Bishop, which I still gripe about. But nonetheless, Hero Scroll, street level. I know Spider-Brando had mentioned it. What is the feel for the MCU on the streets?
Gritty, man. What it should kind of feel, gritty, realistic. Obviously, when you have heroes, there's always going to be a level of fiction. But when you get, again, the comparisons to the Netflix series, Daredevil and Punisher and all that, this feels very, very similar to that, which is the perfect vibe for your street level heroes. Again, one of the big complaints that we've all had, and I know, Lou, that you had from Hawkeye, was how Fisk felt, how the Kingpin felt. And something that I remember us talking about in our Discord is that when Hawkeye came out, when Hawkeye came out and Kingpin came in, it was like, oh yeah, cool, the Kingpin. Now it feels like the Kingpin is here. Holy crap.
Yeah.
And I'm just excited. I cannot wait to see their relationship, because from this trailer alone, the fact that he beat a man near to death, it seems, for mocking her, it's gonna be scary in the best ways. I'm excited.
Here's something I want to throw out to everyone real quick. This is like a classic case of everyone kind of left the Marvel ship. Not everyone, but a fair majority of people are like, I want to go watch The Boys. I'm going to go to Amazon Prime shows because they're more adult and they're more mature, and Marvel is for kids. Well, listen, kids couldn't go see Guardians of the Galaxy. Kids aren't going to be able to watch Echo because you have to put a password in the Disney Plus in order to access the show in the first place. This did something, and again, this isn't brand new, right? And Hero Scroll, you're talking about it right off screen, and we've talked about this with Spider Brando in Discord. One thing specifically that people need to understand is Marvel has had a plan. Contrary to belief, Marvel has had a plan. It was planned to release this show and unveil it when they did. It was strategic to release all episodes. They are satisfying so many things that people have been griping about. It was just be patient. Why be patient? It doesn't matter. Oh, but it definitely does matter. This is what happens when super mega power businesses and companies who traditionally have put out some really, really good things to create a fandom enough that people are trying to make a business off of them, i.e., literally what we're doing right now, spending our day to talk about it. They just have to flip a switch on, and they did. And Marvel is alive and well. The live action world is alive and well. Now, here's my one thing before it, and we'll touch on the Marvel Spotlight thing hopefully here in a minute. What do you guys feel about the report, though, that Echo isn't going to be comic accurate and that her powers are going to differ from what people may have known when they did some research on her at Hawkeye, and that she's going to be a villain in this series?
It should almost be expected, right? Because even though this is a spotlight, and I think is to the benefit of Echo as well, when watching Hawkeye, she doesn't really feel like a hero. So it very much so it could be that they make her an anti-hero, like the first true one for Marvel. I think it's interesting because as far the only other thing that I could really think of is Infinity War. We haven't really gotten a project that gets thrown at us through the eyes of a villain. And the comic accurate, I understand for some people that it's going to bother them, but also let's be honest, not everybody knew who Echo was. Echo was a more obscure character and is a more obscure character only until more recently. So for all 20 people that are diehard Echo fans, I'm sure it sucks, but at the same time, I'm sure they'll be able to do something interesting with her.
Yeah, she I don't know much about her comic origins or really anything about her powers. So hearing that she's supposed to be a villain that you said gets me even more excited. I'm going into this knowing pretty much nothing. So
Yeah, I mean, for me, I was really on the Echo hype train when I saw that this was released at D23 and we got the announcement. I'm like, oh my gosh, because this was before, I believe, quote me in the comments here, or hold me honest, I think this was before we got the Netflix Daredevil roadmap of, is he coming to Disney? Is he going to be in the MCU? What does that look like? And I'm like, man, anyone who's close to Echo, great. Her power set is similar-ish. Again, she's deaf, right? She's not blind, she's deaf. She really can kind of copy people's powers. I thought it'd be cool, especially since we got a nerf Taskmaster from that standpoint. I'm like, oh, Echo could really be a problem for a lot of people. And when we got Hawkeye, I was slightly disappointed. But I think the disappointment wasn't necessarily in the power set. It was she had a really cool reveal, and you had some cool things with Fisk in the backstory when he was walking in and she was younger. And like, I basically raised you, Maya. Like, you are my daughter. And that kind of fell flat after she tried to take revenge, and then they had that whole alleyway scene, which we didn't know what happened at the end of Hawkeye, but my guy's wearing an eye patch, so I think we can assume something happened, but maybe it's a swerve. I don't know. I just think that they have kind of a blank slate to really make an MCU character. And people are, listen, I see it all the time. MCU, here we go. Why is it another female lead? Well, guess what? This female lead is winning everyone over quickly. And when you get back to back to back to back episodes and you really can binge these things without having gaps and letting critiques and all of the naysayers and all the noise around you be like, oh, bro, you like Echo? And you're like, yeah, I like Echo because I have 5 episodes worth of Echo and that was an awesome finale. Versus one episode and you're like, bro, you're watching Echo? And you're like, you're right, man. I'm not going to watch it anymore. You know what I mean? So like, this is a really smart way to kind of really silence the naysayers for this. Again, this show may end up being cheeks. I don't think so, though. I will double down right now and I will do a board bet with you guys and say, but when this show is said and done, this will have one, if not two, of the highest rated Disney Plus episodes of all time. And that is with Loki season 2 being factored in.
Yeah, absolutely. And to that point, it's a fantastic segue into from having that blank slate and having people that don't know about Echo as much. So, Spider-Brand, I'm gonna throw this over to you. You know, having that slate almost, what do you want to see out of this show? Not knowing much about Echo and all this.
Based off the trailer, I want that brutality or that angst that the trailer gave off to continue through the show. There's I think Marvel would benefit from TVMA and like darker street level tone a lot, and it's their perfect time to build that like street level darkness. This is like their first go at it, to where they could really let loose, and hopefully this sets some expectations for the Daredevil rated R show. And give us some like sneak peeks into what to expect there.
For sure, I am excited. I don't know if I'm excited. It is a benefit for the rating that it has. What I will say though is I'm curious to see if they will lean into Daredevil harder. Just because comic book wise they are very closely associated. So I'm hoping we get not only a glimpse but more of a setup into Born Again. And I know that it has that spotlight attached to it, so I know you don't need prior knowledge, but I'm curious if spotlights mean that they're not going to set up things later, which I hope isn't the case. I hope they can still at least set up certain things in other shows like Daredevil.
Listen, that spotlight name is something that's been missing since 2020. I think there are more than a handful of projects that could have benefited from that title being put on it. Because again, it's one thing that we've talked about here on the Point 3 podcast. How are you looking at this show? Are you looking at it at a project level? Are you looking at the greater MCU, the saga, comparison to Infinity War? Again, you can look beyond all of these things. But if I sit here and tell you, hey, guess what? This is specifically self-contained. Moon Knight, it is self-contained. Don't look for Easter eggs for other characters because it's not going to happen. That's a whole different mindset when you go into this and say, well, where's Moon Knight? Well, where's Werewolf by Night? Where are all these characters? They don't exist and they're not going to be here. So stop looking for it because you're missing a lot of great stuff that's going on right now and it's right in front of you. Now, that being said, what do I want to see for the project specifically? A ground level smash mouth storyline that makes us feel, that makes us react, that forces us to make moral and emotional decisions towards Echo and Maya Lopez. As the main character, which way are you going to go? Why are you doing that? Fisk is a bad guy. Why are you still around him? There's got to be something in there that makes it different for the main character. That's what I'm looking forward to. And ultimately, there's the tagline that they keep saying, which looks awesome. No good deed or no bad deed goes unpunished.
Yeah.
Do we get the Punisher? Do we get the Daredevil? Like the fact that Daredevil can hunt Maya in a sense, bro, one episode, have him come in, take my money or my subscription for the gajillionth month in a row and just, chef's kiss.
Again, it's an exciting time to be a Marvel fan. Variety piece. forget you. We're not listening to you. We're not listening to you. But everybody, thanks for tuning in to this episode of the Point 3 podcast. Don't forget to join us Wednesdays, 9:05 Eastern Standard Time for our YouTube live stream, where we'll be discussing the latest news, reviews, and insider scoops. Also, catch the full episode of our podcast anywhere you listen. If you're watching, if you've watched the Echo trailer, let us know what you think, both here in the comment section and on Point 3 podcast over on Instagram and TikTok, all that good stuff. That way we can feature your comment in another episode. But until then, Point 3 people, keep watching, keep reading, keep nerding out.